Round 17 NRL action from the Bruce Stadium in Canberra. It's the Canberra Raiders at home to the Sydney Roosters. The Raiders have one change. Centre Jamal Lolisi is out. Brad Kelly starts in jumper number 14. The new player on the bench in 18 is Michael Monaghan. The coach is Mal Meninga. The Sydney Roosters are as per program. Adrian Morley starting for the suspended Brian Fletcher. Simon Benetti is back in the starting lineup at hooker. The coach is Graham Murray. Shane Hay now referee, and we're underway at Bruce Stadium. The Canberra Raiders defending the southern end of the ground. And running right to left on your screen. A bit of a chill in the air this afternoon in the nation's capital. As the Raiders getting first use of the football. This season is well and truly on the line this afternoon. Kelly, the 30-metre line. Plenty of support for the Roosters here this afternoon. It's Croker. He's hitting a solid tackle. Simon Benetti in there. Back after spending a couple of weeks in First Division. He'll be keen for a big game this afternoon. McClendon there tried to stumble. Gets back to his feet. Finds Finch and slips at the feet of fullback Luke Phillips. Good start here for the Raiders. Last tackle comes to Wolford. Long ball is well picked up there by Kelly, but unfortunately he couldn't maintain his feet. And that's the sixth tackle changeover, but quite an impressive start from the Raiders. Sydney's chance with the football is Adrian Morley, who's starting in place of Brian Fletcher, out suspended for a week. Big opportunity for Morley. And here is the Roosters. It's there early this season, that win by the Roosters, 24-17. The Raiders had every opportunity to win that game. Just weren't quite good enough in the end, and they got out of jail that day, the Roosters. They're not fans of playing in Canberra. They've won here the last time in 1991, so they've got it all against them. Fittler now on the last tackle. Spiralling bomb. It doesn't get much of a spiral. Schifowski in his in-goal took it well. Didn't have the goalpost to worry about, but it's a 20-metre restart for the Raiders. This is Wolf Graham. 25 out from his own line. Wolford. Go right. It's a strong run there from Ruben Wiki. Towards the halfway line. This time Ryan O'Hara, about 9 short of that mark. Wiki, halfway line, is over that by about a metre. Benetti in there with Fitzgibbon once again. Here's Finch. Here's himself. That's the first tackle again. Gets to about 15 metres into Roosters territory on the last tackle. They come left, McClendon. Now Croker, he puts boot to ball. Will it find touch? It does. So the Roosters will get the loosened feed. 10 out from their own line.
Yeah, very good execution by the Raiders in their first 2 sets of 6, making good use of the football. Plenty of territory as well. Their last tackle options have both been very effective. An early drink for a couple of the Roosters players. Not exactly the warmest afternoon here in Canberra. But the players, though, the pace of this game, an early indication tends to give the belief that it will be played at a frantic pace for the first 20 or 30 minutes.
Minicello from the scrum win from the Roosters. Only about 13 out from his own line. Ricketson playing his 199th first grade game. His 199th first grade game for the Roosters. He'll make that magical 200 mark in his next appearance. Pongia plays it. Benetti from acting half. Easy metres there for the number 9. He's picked it up and scooted out of there. Marcusson making the tackle with Wiki. Now Green with the kick. Looking for a 40-20. Is it out on the full? It is. Very, very big blow for the Roosters. 4th tackle, so it'll be a scrum. Looking for that 40-20. Kicked it right on the 40-metre line. Couldn't keep it in the field of play. Golden opportunity here for the Raiders early. They've only had 4 minutes. Here's a chance. Croker from the base of the scrum. Almost through. 30 out. Tackle made by Ricketson. Now comes from McClendon. Jinking around. Links up with Kelly. On the side for Lolisi. And he's tackled 20 metres out. Hold on to the jumper of Morley there. And let's go. Shifosky up in the line. Tongue. He's 15 out. Wolford from acting half. Rutgerson comes back towards the centre of the ruck. The Roosters defence read it well. They're 10 out here, the Raiders. Wolford. Now McClendon. Ball on the boot from Finch. Here's a chance for Kenny Nagas, and the Raiders are in. They've started with a try. It came off the boot of Brett Finch, and Ken Nagas won the race for the football. 4-0 with a kick to come.
What a beginning for the Raiders. Plenty to admire about their third set of 6 with the football. Just have a look as they swing the ball to the right-hand side. Very well handled. Finch just dropping the ball onto his toe. Correct weight getting it through. It's wonderful speed too off the mark from Ken Nagas. Really nothing you could throw a lot of criticism at the Roosters defence about. They did their job. Moved up, covered man for man. You've got to understand that, of course, close to the line, it's very important that you hold somebody back.
There's his angle. But overall this season, 86% success rate for Clinton, the best kicker in the NRL, and he's kicked his last 10 in a row. In fact, the last 7 weeks, I think his percentage is in the mid-90s, around 95%. So can he make it 11 in a row? He struck it pretty well. It'll just fade to the left. And so the score remains at Bruce Stadium. Great start for the Raiders. They lead the Roosters after 7 by 4 points to 0. Bittler with the restart once again. Kelly seemed to almost slip out of his grasp. There's a solid run from O'Hara. He's 29 out from his own line. Wolford, Rutgerson. It's a Benetti who makes the tackle. Ruben coming in across the top. Croker on an angle back towards the centre of the ruck. Morley's there with Ruben to make the tackle. They're about 8 short of the halfway line. They wanted a penalty there. An ordinary pass from Wolford. Finch is under pressure here. It's only 4, so he was able to regroup and turn something that was pretty ordinary into something that was pretty good. Now here's the last tackle. He's trying to milk the penalty. Shifosky with the kick. He was wanting to run it, but no one was there. Minicello's the man under pressure. Took it well. He was then tackled solidly by Wolfgram. Ricketson now. Solid defensive work from O'Hara and Ruben Wiki. Fitzgibbon. Is it Finch who makes the tackle? 15 short of the halfway line. Roosters end of the field. Ruben now drives his way forward. It's about 8 short of the halfway line. Fittler with the kick. It's away from Shifosky. Del Manuel's back there also. He gets a nice bounce. Chase is pretty good from the Roosters, all in a straight line. Shifosky, after receiving the ball, has nowhere to go. Manuel from acting half. He's 20 metres out from his own line. Pretty impressive start here from the Raiders. Nagas now. Highish tackle, and the referee's going to blow a penalty.
I've told you twice. Twice, no. You've got to turn and have a look.
It wasn't for the tackle, it was inside 10. Here it is. It was pretty high from Ruben, but they got the penalty anyway. The Raiders and Clinton Shifosky now a fine touch. They're 5 metres into Roosters territory. So once again, the Raiders have great field position. And as they have done for the most part of the first 9 minutes, they have the football in their hands. And Ruben Wiki is finally taken to ground. O'Hara. Good offload. Rutgerson keeping it alive. Finch. McClendon back on the inside to Croker. The defence was there from Ricketson and also Paul Green. Shifosky from acting half. Inside to Finch. He offloads. Croker in possession. Ball pops out the back. Great ball. McClendon now. Keeping alive the Raiders. Playing positive football. Wolford from acting half. Croker They're hanging on at the moment, the Roosters. And the Raiders applying pressure. Here's McClendon, dummying, stepping. Solid ball and all tackle from Morley. Last tackle for Canberra. Finch, a little chip kick, Flannery under it, and takes it well, 20-metre restart. That close to one of the first mistakes the Raiders have made. Not the best of kicks there from Finch. He's had a pretty positive start, though.
You can just imagine the pressure that would have been on the Roosters if that ball had been another 5 or 10 metres higher. They had 3 or 4 players chasing through. The desperation they're showing early in this game really would be pleasing their co-coaches.
There's the possession at the moment. Dominating Canberra Raiders. Possession and field position, forward pass. But they've turned possession over here, the Roosters, right on the halfway line. Simon Benetti there on screen. Just overrunning it there, Morley. Benetti has been in First Division for the last couple of weeks. The man that threw the pass.
Stay in, now.
Schifofsky, Fittler in front of him, made the tackle. Looked to pass, but decided to hold on to it. 31 metres out from the line, the Raiders. Rutgerson, solid run, solid tackle from Ponga and Fitzgibbon. Finch, McClendon, now Kelly, inside Singh. Good cover from the lock forward, Ricketson. McClendon from acting half skirts away, and Luke Ricketson's caught one from a teammate there in Morley. He missed McClendon, got Ricketson. Now Croker for the corner. Good defence, throws it back on the inside, and Morley's come up with it. Well, Ricketson in back play. He is in a bit of Disneyland at the moment. He just copped the beauty from Adrian Morley, although I think he's hurt his knee there, Wally.
Yeah, well, I think he's having a bit of a rest just to hide something. He caught one straight across the chops from Morley.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's doing it pretty tough and behind the try line. As a mistake, yet another one from the Roosters puts them under more pressure. A scrum will restart at 32 metres out from the line. There's the limp that's coming off.
That could be a problem for New South Wales with a view to State of Origin 3. He's come straight off. The trainer straight away said he's no good. Here's the incident again. Look how he lands that left leg. And maybe he wasn't hit by Morley. He fell out of the way in time.
He's out of play.
He's in strife, Ricketson. Now the Raiders. They've got the football. Finch hurt in back play after he got rid of the ball. And the Raiders have it 28 metres out from the line. Tongue has thrown it away, got a hand to it. Wolford's kicked it again. The referee's playing on. It'll go over the dead ball line. 20-metre restart. Time off. Touch judge on. Ricketson up the tunnel.
It was a high, okay. The thing is, it was too late. He could have pulled out the tackle and it's got him fairly high, okay. Adrian, keep it out.
Well, I mentioned that during the call that Finch was in trouble in back play, and that was the incident that I was talking about. Back near the 40-metre line. Here's the penalty to the Raiders. It's from the last scrum. Things are not going the way of the Roosters, that's for sure. Raiders having a welter of possession to start. 2-0 the penalties. The Roosters not controlling the football. And the Raiders leading on the scoreboard. Now they've come up with an error, though. Just when they needed to consolidate and keep applying the pressure, they've coughed it up. Thing now. Interesting factor here for the Raiders in defence, Wally. Eddie Elliott's obviously got them. When they go back on the 10-metre, the Sing now, they all point. All the players are pointing at the opposition. Just marking out who they want to tackle. Now Fittler through the gap. Now back to Fitzgibbon. Oh, well picked up by Hegarty. About 35 metres out now, the Roosters. He's lost the ball. Penalty.
You've got to let him go. Got to let him get straight up there and you're all over, Ruben.
Ruben Wiki, the man penalised there. Here's a chance for the Roosters. They just haven't been down this end of the football field. Fittler. Now Green. Morley back on the inside. 21 metres out from the line. Pongia. This is Crocker on the field for Luke Ricketson. Benetti. Now Green. Green to Singh. There's a solid tackle. Wolfgram. Crocker. Goes himself. Heavily slammed to the ground. His tongue. Green, not sure that he was supposed to get it. Now Fittler with the kick. Here comes Fitzgibbon. It's over the dead ball line. Schifosky showed plenty of patience and cool nerves to watch it go dead.
Showed plenty of common sense as well, putting himself in between the football and Fitzgibbon. Made it pretty tough for him to be able to get through.
There's a good run from Odell Manuel. Come up to the 35-metre area out from their own line. Butkerson. Finch. Inside to Tongue. He offloads there to O'Hara. It's the halfway line just in front of him. They're over that now through Wolford from acting half. Almost got through. Benetti came up with a tackle. Schifosky heavily involved. From acting half, Nagus overran it now to Wiki. If Schifosky wrapped around, there was an enormous gap there. Now he's got the football. Arm free to Manuel on the wing. He throws it back. Nagus is running back of the halfway line shortly. Offloads now to Wiki. They keep it alive. Rutgerson finally dives on the football. Wolford, last tackle. Finch under pressure. Shocking kick. Was a charge down. Reuben, front rower on front rower. We've got the front rowers sprint to the try line. Who's going to get there? Ian Reuben diving from behind Ryan O'Hara. Two of the slowest men in rugby league. I thought we were going to be half-time before they got there. He's offside, surely. Play on, says the referee. Try. Great advantage from Shane Hayne, and the Roosters have scored to level it up at Bruce Stadium. But what about the run from Ian Reuben?
A great one-on-one battle, but good presence of mind at the end from Michael Crocker as well. Spinning around in the tackle to plant the ball down wide. But I think both coaches, whilst they would have had a bit of a giggle at these two guys, would be fairly critical that some of the other players didn't get back to offer support. Just one man getting back there for Canberra, Mark McClendon. These guys, I'm sure, weren't quite going at Olympic 100-metre speed. A pile of time given. You can see why the penalty would look like it was going to be given. Great advantage played.
It was a horrid kick, wasn't it? Michael Crocker's first try in first grade. Fitzgibbon with the conversion. It's gone straight across the face of the goal. And so the scores are level. At Bruce Stadium, it's the Canberra Raiders and the Sydney Roosters at 4 apiece. It was Ryan O'Hara doing the hard work. The big dive that you normally see a fullback do. Front row on front row. He's exhausted, Ian Reuben. Look at him. He can hardly get there.
You could just see the look on his face saying, "You're kidding, why give it to me?"
Here's Quentin Pongia.
And just had a look at the bench too.
The poor bloke is exhausted in back play. Simon Benetti. 15 short of halfway. Now Green. Fitzgibbon. On the outside of his man, back inside. Fittler couldn't get it, went forward. Phillips got it, didn't hit the ground, but it did travel forward. The referee's come up with the correct call. News from downstairs on Luke Ricketson. Medial ligament damage, I believe, which is not good news for Luke, the Roosters, or New South Wales. Scrum win here for the Raiders. McClendon almost through. Taken to ground there by Brad Fittler. Schifosky heavily involved in the first 20 minutes. Tackled 35 out. That was his 6th hit up of the game. Bad for a fullback. Rutgerson. Wolford down on the pass. Line ball at best. As Wiki is taken to ground. Another ordinary pass from Wolford from acting half, but it bounced nicely from McClendon. Last tackle. Wolford now. Back to Finch, dummied to kick, runs now to Nagus. He comes back towards the centre of the ground. Kenny Nagus only a metre out. Throws it back, picked up by Schifosky. They've got numbers out wide off the post, and he's got it back. Well, that was a miracle. There was nothing on. Clinton Schifosky, well, he got the lucky bounce, but full marks to him for ingenuity. The Raiders are back in front.
Well, let's also remember some pretty good play just prior to this. Shifting the ball wide, Nagus was the man that really put pressure on the Roosters' defence, got inside Paul Green and also Quentin Pongia, tipped the ball back. Well, nothing else to do here. Just try and dribble the ball in. Took a nice bump, very fortuitous bounce back inside, but doesn't matter how the tries are scored, points on the board count. Got to say that at best he was adventurous and it worked for him. The more times things like this come up for him this afternoon, the closer Clinton gets to booking a spot in Queensland's team for the deciding State of Origin match. Sure, he would have enjoyed that one and thought, I'm 2/3 of the way there.
Having a tremendous season. There are the coaches, Mal Meninga and Matty Elliott, both having a bit of a drink. Nice look with the beanie on for Matty. Mal's obviously more accustomed to the Canberra weather. In time for the Roosters. Now dominating this game, the Raiders. Clinton Schifosky with this conversion attempt from right in front. 10 metres out. I mentioned earlier, they haven't won here since 1991, the Roosters, but having said that, Canberra has won just one of its last 7 against the Roosters. Conversion attempt successful, and so the Raiders are out by 6. It's 10 points to 4 at the Bruce Stadium.
Well, sustained pressure really leading to this try. It was quite good work from the Roosters actually to be able to regroup after Nagus had made that incisive run back inside. The coach Graham Murray, very experienced man, he won't be exactly panicking at this stage, but probably just asking his players to get a little bit more commitment. Not quite showing the cooperation that's necessary, especially close to their own line. But the Raiders, their big bonus is the territory they're making every time they cart the ball from their line.
And Ruben has been interchanged for the Roosters. I bet she's pleased about that. Jamie Russo has come on. As the Raiders, they're playing all right today. Bruce Stadium, they need to if they are any hope of making the top 8. Here's Croker going wide again. 10 metres short of the halfway line. It's interesting to see how the Roosters go too without Luke Ricketson. He's one of those players that does so much work that goes without notice. Oh, there's a lift. And luckily they put him down all right, says the referee. Heart is always in the mouth though when you see a player get lifted like that. Now the kick comes from McClendon. Straight to Luke Phillips. As I was saying, Ricketson, he could be a huge loss for the Roosters this afternoon to try and regroup and regather without Ricketson out there. May take some time. Minicello. Let's see if they can complete this set, the Roosters.
Well, we mentioned his name as he took to the field, Craig Fitzgibbon. He's being asked to shoulder a lot of the responsibility every time the Roosters get the ball. He's going to have even more tipped on him if passes like that one keep getting thrown by Quentin Pongia.
Here's the Raiders now. Ruben Wiki. About to see Craig Wing come on for the Roosters as well. Ruben Wiki played that facing the touchline then. Very lucky not to be penalised. Finch didn't get a hand to it. 30 metres out from the line. Now the blind side with Finch. Flannery back there does well, and Nagus cleans him up. Now let's see what the Roosters can do with the football. And they get a penalty.
No, you've got to stay here. You are to the side. You've got to be directly in front.
Adel Manuel penalised there. Completion rate so far today, the Sydney Roosters, pretty ordinary. Penalties now back level. Just need to hold the football for 6 tackles. Pongia. He's over the 20 by about a metre. Morley 30 out from his own line. Fitzgibbon. 12 metres short of the halfway line. Jamie Russo, right on the halfway line. Craig Wing on the field now, as I alluded to. Here's the kick from Green. Del Manuel has to turn and chase. It's going towards that touchline. He watches it go over the touchline. So the Roosters have gone from one end of the field to the other. So a better effort there from the Sydney side. But the Raiders will get the loosened feet.
Yeah, that's a good set. Of course, it was aided a little bit by a penalty on the first tackle. Not that they gained too much territory by Fittler's pick for touch. It was very impressive, and they had good organisation on both sides of the ruck. The Canberra defence, you just see them lining up, trying to work out who was on which side, making sure that they had their respective mans comfortably covered. They have to make sure, though, that their marker defence is spot on from here, especially with Wing taking the field.
30 metres out from their own line, the Raiders. That was McClendon playing the ball. Now Schifofsky, 10 metres short of the halfway line. Heavily involved in Clinton Schifofsky. Kelly, just a metre short of the halfway line. Fitzgibbon doing the defensive work. Croker playing strongly also over the halfway line. Last tackle here for Canberra. Finch, as Matt Singh's just fallen over in back play with no one near him. Tongue, Wiki, now Nagus. What about the bounce offside? Penalty. Matt Singh just fell. There he is on camera. He was just running back to his position. He must have twisted an ankle or a knee. There was no one near him.
It was amazing. It wasn't anybody but within cooey of him, and he just collapsed. It almost looked like he had an ankle just going underneath him. Tony Curry did that one day running for the Broncos. His Achilles tendon just snapped in full stride. It doesn't look good for Singh or the Roosters at all.
Here's Fittler inside to Green. Links up there with Luke Phillips. Here's a chance. Phillips accelerates in his tackle. He's 10 metres out from the line. Singh's still in trouble in back play. From actually half Hegarty slips over. Finch made the tackle. There's the goal line in front of him. Green now. Craig Wing. He ran into his own teammate there. 10 metres short of the goal line. Here's Green. Fittler with the kick. Fitzgibbon can't get through. The ball is on the ground. It's anyone's. The Raiders come up with it. They've got another injury, the Roosters, in back play. I think Morley's gone on the 20-metre line. He's holding his left arm.
Oh, they're down all over the paddock. In fact, the Raiders have got one as well. Ruben Wiki. He's not too much value to the side as well. He's just left the field behind the goalposts. He really is struggling. He's a tough man. He doesn't hit the carpet too often.
He's gone. Morley is in all sorts of trouble with the left arm. The ball is just to his right. They are falling everywhere. Matty Singh, though, seems to be running a bit better. Here's the Raiders with the kick. Morley's coming from the field. So they've lost two of their forwards, the Roosters. There he is, that left arm hanging limply. It looks like a wrist or a forearm. Minicello. It's a solid tackle from Tongue. He's lost it. Was there a hand in there? Did he get it back? Penalty.
Well, I think Hayne got the call from the touch judge. He would have had to. He was standing about 15 metres away from it. And I think there was too much to doubt about that. Alan Tongue, the man that had his hands wrapped around the ball. He didn't believe, though, that he was responsible. But then again, when you get a penalty against you, you don't agree with the referee on many occasions.
Morley's gone up the tunnel with the Sydney Roosters doctor. Doesn't look good for him. Here's Fittler. Shannon Hegarty on the inside to Flannery. Nagus made the tackle. Now on the field, Andrew Lomu. It's hard when you lose Ricketson and Morley in the first half an hour of the game. Ruben Wiki seems to be a little bit better, but he's going up the tunnel too for the Raiders. Green, still going Paul Green. The tackle was made there by Darren Porter. Fittler, great ball, the Roosters are in. Can he get it down? Or is he held up? He's held up. Jamie Russo couldn't get it down. Shane Hayne in a great position, but what about the defensive work for the Canberra Raiders? And I think it's Kenny Nagus.
Yeah, it was a magnificent tackle. He knew he had to go in. Nagus saw himself in a spot where he had to try and roll the player over. He did it to great effect. That's a magnificent tackle. The heat not off the Raiders at the moment. They've got a scrum packing 10 metres out, and he's struggling. There's players all over the place down there. It's a smash-up derby in Canberra.
We've got Terry Martin going from the field of play for the Raiders. Now the Roosters. Fittler, here's a chance. Minicello back on the inside. The Raiders defence has read it well, though. Now it's with Crocker, wing, Pongia. You don't often see a front rower score a try from a scrum. He's only a metre out from the line. Wing from acting half. Is he over? He is. After they've done so well, the Raiders, Craig Wing has scored a soft try from acting half. That's his 10th try for the season and his 9th from active as coming on as an interchange player.
Well, that's a very soft try, but Brett Finch has gone absolutely berserk at the referee. He doesn't believe the try was fair. He also said that in the previous play, a man was taken out, one of the defenders. It did look to be fairly soft. I don't think he'd offer much of an argument there in the grounding of the football. Wing got that one down, but actually what he's blowing up about, he's saying that he was taken out by Quinton Pongia, the man playing the football. And I've got to say, looking at it there, you've got to agree with him a little bit. Pongia played the football, walked forward, pushed him backwards out of the way.
Okay, and on a previous occasion, Brett's had a bit of a chat. Okay, what I want you to do is calm him down. I'm in control of this game. If he opens his mouth again in any sort of way against me, okay, he's going to sit down. Okay, mate? Good.
Well, the warning being given that the gob fall hasn't been accepted by the referee, but just watch, he just gets pushed backwards by Pongia, who takes a couple of steps forward. That's not what he was real happy about, but you've got to say that if you're in a position close to the line, you've got to make sure you take care of the man at dummy half first.
The conversion is successful from Craig Fitzgibbon, and so we're locked up here at the Bruce Stadium. It's 10-all. There's Graham Murray. Now let's just regroup here. We've got Shannon Haggerty receiving treatment on the touchline for a knee injury right at the tunnel. So he is in trouble there, but at least he's going to come back. Matty Singh is still on the field. You can see that treatment there. So he's all right. Luke Rickettson's off with a medial ligament damage. Adrian Morley's got an injury to his left arm. And for the Canberra Raiders, Terry Martin, while that try was being scored, came from the field with blood pouring from his mouth. And we had Ruben Wiki also come off the field and go straight up the tunnel. There's Matty Singh, still seems to be limping a little bit, but much better than he was before. So it has been a real battle here at the Bruce Stadium, and we're still 7 out from half-time. There's Luke Ricketson with the ice on that knee. This is Jamie Russo. What a run. Now Flannery inside Haggerty. They're in again, the Roosters. They've scored 2 tries in 2 minutes, and they're back in front. Jamie Russo with the run. Flannery linked up. And Haggerty, who was a minute ago getting treatment on the touchline, has scored the try.
Well, what a hit back from the Roosters. Great work. Making best use of the short side. Very ordinary defence, though. Brett Finch, the man that was just steamrolled. The second man that went in, Darren Mapp, he didn't offer a real lot of assistance either. Clinton Schifosky, well, had a decision to make. What do I do? Do I take the man in support? Do I take the ball carrier? Do I take the intercept? Didn't really make any difference. What one, he put his hand out, pulled out of the hat. It wasn't going to stop a great Roosters comeback.
Jamie Russo did particularly well to get the ball away. Also under a bit of pressure as Craig Fitzgibbon converts the try. 2 tries in a couple of minutes to the Roosters. It's now 16-10, the Roosters over the Raiders. We've got 5 to go till half-time.
And I think the last 5 minutes have probably given the Roosters a little bit of an indication where it might be to the best of their advantage to play the game. Luke Ricketson, obviously the workhorse for them, not getting an opportunity to do the blindside running, been taken over. Another injury, Ken Nagus. That's his second one for the game. But I think Brett Finch may find himself the target of a couple of the large running forwards from the Sydney Roosters. Clocked up a few missed ones already.
The Roosters now with Pong out. We've got 5 to go until half time. And so often this season we've seen tries scored in that period. Will there be one today? If it's the Roosters, that'll be a pretty handy gap, and Canberra will be right back. Fitzgibbon, 10 short of the halfway line. Now Green with the kick, looking for a 40-20. Shivosky races across, but it turns back on the inside, so away from touch. And the chase is good from the Roosters.
Hold, wait, marker straight.
This is Adel Manuel. What about that possession evening up? Not long ago, it was 73-27. Now the Roosters have more possession than the Raiders, and they've got the lead. Rutgerson, 15 short of the halfway line. Tongue is about 5 short. Last tackle here for Canberra. Back to Finch. Drives that kick very low. Down to Minicello. He's played at it, so they're all onside. Kroger's up there to make the tackle. Got the assistance there of Greg Wolfgram. Phillips. This is Flannery. Clinton to do the defensive work with Adel Manuel on the far side of the field. 3 minutes out from the break. Almost fell over there, an awkward run. Lomu. 15 short of the halfway line. Benetti at acting half. Green. This is Pong out. 5 short of the halfway line. Wing now. Green. The kick downfield. Straight to Shivosky. He's forced back in the tackle. Kelly from acting half. He's lost the ball. Penalty. I thought it might have just been a loss. Quick kick for touch from Finch. With 2.5 to go until the break, and they're 30 metres out now. Here's Wolford with the tap. Finch. Yelling at his teammates in support. He plays the ball. This is Monahan. Trying to get to his feet to play. Does so now. Wolford, they come the blind side. He goes himself. He's only a couple of metres out. The defence holds firm from the Roosters. Green and Phillips. Croker at acting half. Picked up by Monahan. Now Finch. Finch turning the ball inside. Dragging defenders as they go towards the line. Clinton caught one then. Gets to his feet slowly. Finch. Now Monahan inside there to Rutgerson. Last tackle, 10 metres out. Monahan with the kick. Minicello is there, but they'll force him in goal. No, he's saying tackle one.
Ball's been forced there, and it's here.
He did call tackle one at first, but then he said forced in goal. He's got the correct decision. Goal line dropout. The Raiders will have about 50 seconds. Now he signals time off.
Yeah, we've got 2 balls.
There's 2 balls on the ground. Maybe the Canberra Raiders ball boy knew if he threw an extra ball on him, he'd have to call time off.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
There goes the second ball off the field. Time on, and Paul Green restarts play. They've got 1 minute, the Raiders. Can they score before half-time? Wolfgram. Straight through. He's only got the fullback to beat. The cover comes. Phillips gets him by the ankle. Bad miss, Andrew Lomu. He plays the ball. Wolford now. Finch intercepted. Fittler, will he have the pace? Across comes Rutgerson. Where's the support? He's away from Rutgerson. Here comes Green. The defence now from Porter. Back on the inside to Green. Green skips out. No, he's only a couple of metres out. 30 seconds from the break. The long ball to Minicello. Croker's out on the wing. Minicello back inside the Matty Singh. Must score, he does. They've gone 100 metres. The Raiders look like scoring at one end, and that could be a killer just before the break. 20 points to 10 with a kick to come.
Oh, quality work. That's a great finish. Well, I'm sure that Brad Fittler will be very happy that they've managed to score. He's not going to enjoy being... There's the intercept. He took it. He's not going to enjoy the front rowers reminding him that he was run down by a front rower. You've been caught not just once, Freddie. A second man managed to get across and grab you as well. It looked like they'd defused a very dangerous situation when Paul Green was caught within metres of the line, but a clever shift. Did very well on this occasion, taking the ball wide. Minicello. Singh, well, the experience of this guy didn't allow him to waste an opportunity like that. A clever angle back inside, just too good for the Raiders' scrambling defence.
Croker was posted out on his own there, and Singh, who got up limping from that as well. Well, it was a tremendous try, and Brad Fittler, great chase from Mutkerson to nail him down.
But I've got to say, I think the Raiders blew that. They had four or five guys on two defenders, maybe three at the best. If they'd gone through the hands, they were a better chance.
Here's Fitzgibbon with the conversion attempt. Has it got the legs? It does. And that hurts as well. So at halftime here at Bruce Stadium, the Canberra Raiders find themselves 12 points behind the Roosters. Sydney Roosters 22, Canberra 10. And that try just before halftime could prove the knockout blow for the Canberra Raiders. They've battled hard in the first half, but they find themselves 2 converted tries behind. Half-time at the Bruce Stadium, it's the Sydney Roosters 22 leading the Canberra Raiders 10.
Fitzgibbon as well. He continues to amaze me, this guy. People predicting the end for him.
Minicello. Well, they couldn't have asked for a better start, the Raiders. And so they'll get the loosened feet.
Well, they've got some pretty good home ground advantage, haven't they, the Raiders? They're kicking right to that corner. The Roosters will find it tough. They'll be peeping into that sun throughout the course of the second half until the shadows take over.
Here's the scrum win. Tongue from the base of the scrum now, Monahan. He's only about 8 metres out from the line. They need to hit back here, Canberra. They trail by 12. One there from Terry Martin. Now Tongue. Tongue's about 5 metres out from the line. Wolford at acting half. Here's Finch, had to wait for it. Monahan. Monahan goes himself. Still going Monahan. Fittler's there to make the tackle. A couple of his teammates, Phillips being one of them. Porter now. Driving towards the goal line. Forced back. Last tackle. Monahan. Will he run or kick? He decides to pass. Now the ball comes to Finch. Finch goes to the corner. Phillips comes up with a great tackle. I thought he was tackled. The referee is going to go to the video referee.
Well, I agree with you on that one, Mark.
Where that ball came in contact with the ground before he passed it.
And there's the request from referee Shane Hayne. I thought that his arm actually made contact with the ground as well. Argue whether the ball came in contact with it, whether he had a right to be able to lift his arm a second time. He didn't. It's made contact.
And I think they'll be disappointed, the Raiders fans, as Graham West will decide that it's no try. And there it is, no try. And the penalty goes to the Roosters for the pass after the tackle was completed. And that would have been a great start for the Raiders. Here's Green.
Yeah, on the line, on the cross.
Just driving the ball.
Make sure he's behind Anthony. Yep.
And it's 10 metres out. Craig Wing. Pong out. News from downstairs, Adrian Morley off to get his arm x-rayed as the Roosters now trying to work the ball out from their own 20. Hegarty got Flannery on the outside, trying to get on the outside of Del Manuel. They tried to drag him into touch, but Flannery stayed in the field of play. Here's Lomu. Crowd thought the pass was forward. Back to wing. There's a long ball there from Jamie Russo. Crocker now. 10 metres into Raiders territory. Minicello from acting half. Trying to put that drop ball from the kickoff behind him. There's another touch now. Green taking in the tackle. 25 metres out from the goal line, right in centre field. Here's Fittler with the kick, off legs. Finch picks it up, open space in front. Half-back on half-back, Green coming across, and Fittler wraps him up.
Well, Brett Finch is going to cop some now. I'll remind him that Brad Fittler was caught by a front rower, and you were caught by Brad Fittler.
And Fittler had to slow down to get him. Now Tongue. On the outside, I thought he was going to have the pace to get past Fittler. Green was there anyway. Oh, here's some punches from Michael Crocker.
Go away. Michael, let him go.
Something's happened there.
Michael, just walk away, Michael. What we're going to do, the penalty's going to go against you guys, okay, for throwing the punch, okay? He just pushed you off, okay? But if you two players now come in contact at all with any foul play, you'll be sitting down, okay? So clear it up, righto. Hang on, Brett, hang on, haven't called time on.
There's a penalty to the Raiders. And so we're back playing. That'll fire both teams up. Michael Crocker just went berserk there on Karen Porter. And as I mentioned, Sean Rutgerson has been added to the injury list from this game. Wolford, now Finch juggles that. There's a heavy tackle from Green. Now Wolford from acting half, they go a short blind side. Kelly coming away from touch. You need to score here, the Raiders. Monahan. This is Darren Mack, almost through. Ankle tap by Pongia. Schifosky at acting half. Monahan with the kick towards the end goal. Has it gone dead?
20.
It has. I thought maybe Luke Phillips got a boot to it before a lunging Jason Croker, but it was over the dead ball line, and so Fitzgibbon now. Here's the incident here. There's the first punch from Porter.
After that, he just laid down and said, well, I'm going to cover up. Another mistake from the Roosters. Gee, this game, it's almost been a carbon copy of the way the game began. Minus, of course, a couple of tries to the Raiders, but very poor ball control by the Sydney Roosters. Possession,
still, hang on,
the game's been very evenly played.
Stay now.
Schifosky just seem to be pinned down in their own territory, the Roosters, the whole game, but they lead by 12. Wolford from acting half, away, straight up the middle of the ruck. Phillips had to make the tackle. Now Tongue from acting half. The ball free. Was it stripped, or did he try and throw it? Knock on by the Roosters.
Ball's knocked on. Let's go in there. No.
Obviously saying that the ball wasn't stripped. It was effectively passed backwards by Tongue himself. Two men in. Gee, I've got to say that looked like a penalty to me. I've got any doubt Michael Crocker was the man that made contact.
Here's the Raiders. Croker now, almost through the tackle of Phillips. We're just brought him to ground now from acting half. Odell Manuel is only a metre out. Croker, this is Finch. He offloads, a yawning gap there from Matt. Can he go through it? No, just a little bit slow. Gets to his feet. Here's a chance, the Raiders. The defence holds once again from the Roosters, just a metre out. Tongue, Monahan has to go back for it. Matt, here's Finch accelerating through a gap. Back on the inside, O'Hara. What about the try saver from Luke Phillips? Last tackle. Lucky bounce, Monahan, quick hands, Finch over in the corner. He did well there, Michael Monahan, and they've scored the try, the Canberra Raiders, a try they desperately needed.
That's a fair assessment. Desperation was part of that play right from the time the ball was thrown from dummy half. They were looking for somebody to come up with a little bit. The ball attempted to be kicked forward by Jason Croker. It didn't work. Had some of the backs from the Roosters sprinting out of the line to try and chop it off. Paul Green was the first of them. Match delicately poised. A very important conversion attempt.
Here's Clinton Schifosky. Important kick. Make it a converted try, the difference. Unfortunately, straight across the face of goal. And so the score remains at Bruce Stadium. The Sydney Roosters 22, the Canberra Raiders 14. It's a war of attrition. There's the Canberra Raiders. They have no players on the bench.
That's a great shot. It explains this match, doesn't it? No replacements left to put back on there. They're all in the side of the panel beaters.
I've worked out 3 of them. I just can't work out who the 4th player is that won't be back. Terry Martin suffered a knock in the first half, but I thought I might have seen him on the field. McClendon, of course, got his mouth stitched. He was getting it stitched at half-time. Not sure that he's out there. He might be the other player. There's a solid run. A good run from Darren Mapp. Finch. I think it is McClendon that hasn't come back with that mouth injury. So he's the 4th player. And the Raiders down to nobody on the bench. Player-wise, there's plenty of support staff down there, but they can't go on. Last tackle here for the Raiders. Monahan with the kick. Into the in-goal area. It'll go touch in goal, though, I think. Too much on it. They didn't need that there.
Make sure they're all on side, Craig.
There's Ian Rubin coming back for the Roosters. Not only their injury count today, the Canberra Raiders, but the players they have out injured is quite extraordinary. McFadden, Payton, Famuana, DeVico, Vainicolo, Kallela, Hodson and Lolisi today, all unavailable. And you add Nagus, McClendon, Rutgerson and Wiki. There's a first-grade side on its own. A pretty handy first-grade side. Fitzgibbon now on the halfway line. There's a strong run from Jamie Russo. Fittler now. Spiralling kick. Schifosky, that was well judged. That was blowing around in the breeze and dipping away from him, from Brad Fittler. And he did well there, Clinton Schifosky, to take it. Now Croker. 22 out from his own line. Almost lost that football. Manuel now. This is Porter. Has the arm free. Crowd thought it might have been a bit high. His tongue. Back on the inside, O'Hara. Yawning gap. Wolford on his inside. Can he draw the fullback? Wing comes in to support defence. Wolford still going. The ball's on the ground. They're playing it again, the Raiders.
There you go, Simon.
Golden opportunity. The ball back on the inside to O'Hara. Wolford didn't have the pace, but they blew it. Now the Roosters may make them pay. Russo plays it. Now Ian Rubin drives forward. Plenty of line breaks in the first 50 minutes of this game. Lomu. Porter went high and bounced away. Now Fittler, last tackle. Green with the kick. Drives it towards the corner. And he finds it about a metre out. The scrum will come back to the 10-metre line.
Yeah, smart work from Craig now, with the wrong bloke. Paul Green. He's done very well. His kicking game, he's had to struggle with it on a couple of occasions. A few of the times he's wanted to try little chip kicks. He's been overridden by Brad Fittler's call. quite rightly so. Fittler spotted some golden opportunities out wide. He's done that. But really, you have a look at that last time the Raiders visited the other end of the football field. They could have almost written a book on how to bomb a try. It looked a try 4 or 5 times. They looked certain to score.
Tough tackle there on Greg Wolfgram. Really thrown into the ground. Chivosky. He's played well today for the Canberra Raiders. And the defence is there from Jamie Russo. And also Shannon Hegarty. Here's a run from Darren Mapp. 12 metres short on the halfway line. Wolford, Croker. There's a heavy tackle. Once again, Brad Fittler driving with the shoulder up top. Hegarty around the legs. Last tackle. Monahan with the kick. Minicello back there. Acres of space in front of him. Here comes the chase. Phillips. Ducked then. Jason Croker. I thought there was going to be a clash of heads. It's a solid body contact. They both get up. Luke Phillips is holding that left hamstring. Minicello over the halfway line. Now Lomu, straight and hard, gets the ball away. Craig Wing weaves around, links up with Green. Now Fitzgibbon, chance for the Roosters. Goes to Matty Singh on the far side. He goes to ground, he's limping again. Singh, he's in trouble. Reuben. Oh, there goes Alan Tongue. What did he pop there? Time off.
Just hold Reuben.
Touch judge in.
This could well go against the Roosters.
Okay. Hey, hey. Yep. Just listen to the report, okay? Yep.
Raise the elbow, protect himself, and unfortunately he's hit the bloke.
Okay. Yeah, okay. No, it doesn't matter. Listen, Brad, okay? What I want you to do is when you're going in there, just be very careful of where you're putting it, okay? Because it could come in contact, and it did come in contact with this rate, and that's a report. So we're going to put it on report, okay? All right, it's on report, okay? The penalty's here. Hang on.
Ian Reuben on report. Here it is. Lifting it there, the forearm. There it is. Oh. Alan Tongue, the man, as I mentioned, he came reeling away. And that's the reason. Touch judge Lynn Henderson on the far side coming in straight away. And so the Raiders have the opportunity to take the ball down the other end of the field. Croker, ball and all tackle from Shannon Hegarty and Jason Croker.
Come in.
Time off. Touch judge Cooley now.
He asked me to come in. Just Brad. Listen, this is the report. Yep.
So there's nothing wrong. There was a body tackle, but it did come in contact with the player's head. He was dropping down.
Okay.
There was still a hit to the player's head.
Okay, pause. Yep, no worries. Got that? So just get him down.
Penalty against Shannon Hegarty. Interesting comment here from Clinton Chifosky to the referee. They can't keep taking this out. We've got no players left. Oh, there's a high one. What's he going to do here? Across the shoulder, he says.
No. Come on then. Yeah, come on.
Well, he hasn't called time off. Now he does. Well, the player wasn't going to get back on his feet. We saw the look on Ryan O'Hara's face. He couldn't believe it. Now the touch judge from the far side.
How bad? Number 8.
Listen. By making the tackle, he reached out and grabbed him high.
Okay.
We're putting on record again.
Okay. What I want you to do, okay, I've talked to you once before for the elbow. Okay, this time it's a high tackle, next time you're going. Okay, get it out, it's on report.
Yeah, I think Ian Reuben ran in there offering some sort of excuse to the referee. Well, he offered the excuse, I think, because he thought that he was gone. He'd be pretty happy that he's staying there and taking the report.
How did the referee miss it? Now Finch back on the inside, ball on the ground. Shufovsky, he's running backwards. Now goes forward. Touch change from the far side had to come in. Now Wolford. 5 metres out from the line. The Raiders got to within 8. Now here comes Kelly. Goes himself. They wrap him up, but he pops the ball on the ground. Scoop back. Tongue now with it. He pushes away from the defence. Porter. He ducked under a high-ish tackle. Shufovsky from acting half. Had numbers on his outside. They've only got 3 players on the far side of the field, the Roosters. They're thin left. They come right. Finch with the kick. Fittler there. Innocuous stuff. And so the Roosters have dodged a bullet there, and they had numbers left, the Raiders. Flannery now.
Well, you brought the right call out, Mark. They had 5 attackers to 3 defenders, and 2 consecutive rucks chose to run the wrong way.
Benetti back on the field. Here's Reuben. They swarm in on him. He's still going in, Reuben. Get round his legs. They do so now. Called on to play it. Last tackle. Green. Wing. Singh. Minicello.
6 change over.
And that Craig Wing moves closer in away from Matty Singh. Now the Green machine trying to work their way downfield. No one was expecting the pass from Tongue. Finch was looking the other way. And luckily for the Raiders, it was Darren Porter got in there to dive on it. What about that stat there? The game has been played in the Roosters half for 67% of the game. Here's Adel Manuel. Flannery gets him from behind. Finch at acting half. Here's Wolford. Darren Matt putting his teammate Monahan under pressure. He was able to get it away somehow to Kelly. Back to Tongue. Now Wolfgram O'Hara. He's been in more open space today than he would have been in his career. Almost again. Now Wolford. Finch on the inside. Kelly. There's O'Hara again. Offloads. Nice bounce for Monahan. Now he accelerates through. Support on the inside. Phillips got between the player. Penalty.
Well, that's almost a professional foul.
There's a Canberra player, Crocker, limping away. Now it comes from Finch. Croker couldn't get a hand to it. So Manuel takes a tackle. Croker. Finch. Darren Porter on the inside. 21 to go, 8 points the difference. That was interesting. Wolford. Darren Matt off the chest, Indian goal. No one wants to dive on it. Play the whistle, Canberra. Now he decides it's a knock-on, scrum to pack down.
Well, they won't be able to complain after the match, the Raiders, that they didn't have enough opportunities to win this game. Some pretty ordinary execution. Close to the line. They've got to remember that it doesn't matter if they score from this set of 6. Drop it in behind and wait till the next time. Fortunately, their patience this afternoon has probably cost them a couple of tries. It looked on a number of occasions then, though, that they were going to score. You've got to give credit to the Roosters' defence.
Holding firm at the moment. It's Michael Crocker's in Croker and Crocker and Wing and Singh. Michael Croker's in trouble in back play.
Imagine if Andrew King joins them.
There he is, he's limping. I think he's got cramp. So he's been replaced by Jamie Russo. Now Benetti to Fittler. Minicello's lost it. Is he looking into the sun on that far side that Wally alluded to before? Now Tongue. This is the 0 tackle. Right on the halfway line. Now the Raiders once again into Roosters territory. Finch from acting half. Can he get away from Reuben? He's Tongue in support, and Phillips has come up with another try saver. He's been safe at the back. Now Finch. Monahan, quick hands. Croker must score. Mendel in the corner. And they do. The Raiders finally get the 4 points. They're back to within 4. It's 22-18, and they've got a kick to come.
And the man getting off the ground, he certainly can't be blamed for that try being scored. Luke Phillips, he must have stopped at least 6 or 7 tries so far this afternoon. A hop in the step of Jason Croker. The ball, though, was handed over via a mistake. Fittler's pass to Minicello going to ground. They tossed the ball wide, and just moments later, after a good turn on the inside, they decided to just simply put the ball to the winger along the hands rather than throw cutout passes. Proved too good for the cover defence.
This is just a casualty ward at the moment. Ruben Wiki has gone to hospital for the Raiders, and Mark McClendon's gone as well with a suspected broken jaw. We've got Adrian Morley there with a busted arm. There's Jason Croker. He's getting his ankle strapped. Michael Crocker's on the bench with cramp. Luke Rickettson's got a medial damage. Kenny Nagus is off, of course, as well, as we mentioned. Sean Rutgerson is off as well. And the conversion attempt from Clinton Schifofsky is a ripper. They're back to within 2, the Raiders. Are they storming home? 22-20. There's Mal Meninga in the grandstand. They haven't won after trailing at half-time this season. The Raiders can today for the first time. They've got themselves to within 2 points. And what a courageous effort it would be. And they've had no interchange players for the second half. Jason Croker can barely walk out in the centres, let alone run. They're 30 metres out from their own line. There's Ryan O'Hara. He's played subtly. There's Croker. Now the ball comes back to Monahan. He's over the halfway. Schifofsky on his inside. He throws the dummy. Fittler chases. Clinton Schifofsky will get away from Fittler and score the try. The Raiders, what about their courage? They've hit the lead. There's no one on the bench, but they don't care. They lead by 2. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, what does it take to please you, Mel? Get up, give the boys a cheer. That's a magnificent comeback. The confidence in store from the last try. In overload, Fittler going in, as well as Shannon Haggerty not able to affect the tackle. Some terrific ball skills. Just have a look at the maturity on board Michael Monahan's play, though. Realised that Luke Phillips was left with no other option than to try and cover 2 other people. Some great desperation at the end from the skipper to try and get there and drag him down one-handed. But boy, talent overloaded involved in this one.
I thought he was going to give the ball, but as you say, Wally, he just held it off because he saw Phillips going and then had the knowledge to know that Fittler was right behind him, and a double for Clinton Schifofsky. This has been a tremendous effort from the Canberra Raiders. Now Clinton Schifofsky. Has he done enough today, Wally, to get himself a maroon jumper? He'll have a nervous wait. There's Ian Rubin. He's on report twice. Captain Simon Wolford. They've had some tremendous wins, the Canberra Raiders, but I'm sure this, if they can hang on, there's still plenty of time to go. They'll rank among the best. And Schifofsky has converted the try. He's having a tremendous day. 2 tries and 3 goals. 14 points as the Roosters now have got to try and fight back. 14 to go, 26-22 at Bruce Stadium. What an afternoon of rugby league. It has been a war of attrition. 16 unanswered points for the Canberra Raiders. They trail 22-10 at half-time. And they are playing confident football, which is unusual for a team that's won just one of its last 7. Now O'Hara straight at Rubin. Isn't he lifted in the second half with the added responsibility? That was hit up number 16, and they get a penalty.
They've got to go.
As well as getting a pat on the back for taking that ball up very strongly. He's going to get a further one from his teammates. He milked that very well. There was certainly some interference from Simon Benetti there, who made it look even worse. Schifosky's kick, unfortunately not the best, gaining around about 4 or 5 metres.
Well, Wally, we saw the possession rate even up in the first half. The Roosters got back in it, but they have had a mountain of possession in the second half. The Canberra Raiders, on the back of that 9-5 penalty count, there it is, 59-41. It's pretty much even at half-time after the Raiders dominated the first half. And they've had it all down the other end of the field. Wolford now will play it. Can they go in again? Monahan, there's a charge, the ball thrown out the back.
Let him go.
It wasn't the best of passes from Terry Martin.
No, it's exactly what they didn't need. They wanted to be able to just hold the ball, dribble it in behind the line, maintain the pressure.
Fitzgibbon plays. Be pleased to see the football here, the Roosters. They'll be after a completed set here. Green, Bittler, they're going wide. Here's Hegarty. Ball on the outside beautifully to Flannery. Gets away from Manuel. Was that off the ground? Well, if it wasn't, it was very close. The referee said play on.
And I think the touch judge believed it was as well. He stuck with it on the mark on the ground.
Now Green, here's Wing. Back to Singh. Wish they'd move away from each other. Now Phillips. Schifosky over there. What courage. He's lost the ball, though. But he put his body on the line. That was danger there for the Raiders. They'll get the loose and feed the Roosters. Just in front of Minicello, Clinton Schifosky.
Not in my eyes.
Well, it's good counter-attack, I've got to say, by the Roosters. Every time they swing the ball wide, they look like they're presenting a great danger to the Canberra defence.
Here's Fittler. Hegarty now. Back on the inside to Flannery. Schifosky comes up with a tackle. Fittler at acting half. Green, Reuben. The defence is there in numbers for the Canberra Raiders. They're 5 metres out, the Roosters. They trail by 4. Here's Green. Fitzgibbon's lost it. It's on the ground. Green's lost it. And they've survived, the Raiders.
And there was plenty of pressure on that pass and that tackle. It needed to be made. Shifting the ball wide. Oh, Jidney positioned himself perfectly as well. Craig Fitzgibbon right in the middle, unfortunately, just unable to control the ball.
Hang on, Paul.
Paul Green doing his best to feed the scrum. The referee saying, hang on, remember you guys knocked it on. It's Canberra's ball.
Well, in the old days, Brett Finch would have been up there quick smart. In fact, it was Michael Monahan, who's in his experience, in getting the ball off Paul Green in no uncertain terms. Trying to get the penalty there, Brad Kelly, not forthcoming. Here's Finch. So we're about to see Michael Crocker come back for the Roosters. That's Terry Martin. He's about 2 metres short of the halfway line. Here's Darren Porter. The official from the Canberra side that holds up the interchange cards might as well go home because they've got no one left. No point paying him double time on a Sunday. Now the ball goes to Hegarty. Counter-attack here from the Roosters.
Gee, I didn't think that was the right option to take that grubber kick. I think they could have gone one more tackle and simply put the ball high. The pressure on Luke Phillips would have been enormous.
Minicello, solid tackle. There's that Darren Mapp. Benetti acting half. Here's Pongia up the middle of the ruck. You have to wonder now, Wally, with 8 to go, whether having no interchanges for the whole second half is going to start to take its toll on the Canberra defence, although they have had a lot of football. Last tackle. Fittler, Green. Straight down the throat there. Greg Wolfgram on the far side of the field.
Yeah, that was similar to Canberra's. I didn't see any real benefit Had a good back line, they could have run it, or if worse, try and kick the ball somewhere else other than straight down the throat of one of the Canberra players.
And Canberra will be pleased to have the football, not to use up as much juice. 8 to go, they lead by 4. They're going to have a new change in the second half due to injury, and this player has really lifted, Ryan O'Hara. Hit up number 18. Wolford from acting half. Some good meters there, last tackle for the Raiders.
Not a bad idea to try and kick the touch on occasions like this. They're trying to burn down the clock.
Monahan, here's the experienced Croker. He's looking for touch, and he's found it. And that's what experience does. Jason Croker, international. Years of experience for the Canberra Raiders. 215 first grade games. And it came to the fore.
What it also does is give the Raiders 30 seconds breathing space and an opportunity to allow their backs time to communicate, add a little bit more authority to their defence, make sure that they're ready for the onslaught.
Here's Fittler. Roosters will be looking for him, try and get them this victory. Green from acting half. No one in support, now he links up with Shannon Hegarty. He comes back in towards the centre of the field. Quick play the ball. Wing from acting half. Over the halfway line. Easy metres here for the Roosters. We've still got 45 metres to go. Pong out. 40 metres out. 38. Benetti acting half. Here's Green. Now Fittler. Phillips. He's lost the ball.
All in the tackle. If it come off his hand, it was in the tackle. Okay, we've got a knock on here.
Knock on against the Roosters, and so the Raiders will get possession back again.
Fittler trying to just drop the ball into a hole. Actually, I think Luke Phillips tripped over Brad Fittler's foot, made it a little bit tough for him. Fittler's a man now that's got to try and seize the opportunity. He's got to run the football, let the supporting players follow him.
Get seconds in.
A player like him will probably command at least 2 defenders to come out of the line as well.
There's Tongue. Fitzgibbon about to come back for the Roosters. Now Finch from acting half. O'Hara gets his offload away. They're just short of the halfway line. Playing the ball there, Terry Martin. Kelly. Fanny. Forced back in the tackle. Tongue. He's played well today also. Very busy, 20 tackles. As he's 13th hit up. Another kick from Monahan to the corner, looking for touch. Flannery just has to play at it, and as he forced in goal, he is. That was a great kick. Flannery tried to will it over the touchline, but had to play at it. He's also very close to the corner post. Thought he may have been able to pick it up there, but he had nowhere to go. He had to go right, and the Raiders' defence knew it. Good chase at El Manuel. Strange restart. Wolford now, 10 metres out. Wolford slow to his feet. Raiders right back on the attack. Now Tongue. They can put them away here, Canberra. Bursting through Monahan, still going. Almost trying to crawl on hands and knees. 5 metres out from the line, Schifowski. Nowhere to go. Slow to his feet. They're exhausted, the Raiders. Here's Matt stepping, he's over! That surely is the ball game for the Canberra Raiders, and one of the most courageous victories in the club's history. 4 to go, it's 8 the diff. And this has been a remarkable comeback from the Canberra Raiders.
And I've got to say, I'm absolutely amazed to see the decision to make that drop kick from underneath the post. Sure, if you're going to go and try and retrieve possession, you put the ball in the air. Paul Greens simply put it straight right down the throat of Simon Wolford, simply handing it over. 2 rucks later, the big fella, Darren Mapp, took them on, stepping back on the inside of Andrew Lomu. Inside defence, not able to pick him up either. Gee, guts, glory, determination. You put what name you like alongside this game. I think you've called it perfectly. One of the most courageous in this club's history. Still fighting for semi-final survival.
And there's 2 more points from the boot of Clinton Schifosky. And the lead now is 32 points to 22. Amazingly, it was 22-10 at half-time to the Roosters. And at half-time, there's Graham Murray. He'd be absolutely devastated. At half-time, the Raiders had no replacements. And that try that the Roosters scored was a minute before full-time and could have been just such a crushing blow just before the break. And they've come out in the second half, Canberra, and they have played courageous football. Tongue slow to his feet. Darren Mapp, 10 metres short of the halfway line. 1 minute to go. Brad Kelly now. Now Finch looking for touch, drills it towards the touchline, and the crowd erupts at Bruce Stadium.
Let's go, fellas, come on.
Well, I'm sure both clubs are going to enjoy next week off. Running repairs to the damage, but all those injuries you mentioned, gee, they are going to halt their campaign towards the semi-finals. They've got some pretty hard games coming up as well, leading in. Northern Eagles, Bulldogs, Penrith at Penrith. Of course, Penrith beat them in round 7. They finish up playing the Broncos and also Parramatta, so no easy run home.
Here's Minicello, chance for the Roosters. Schifosky across there, Minicello on the boot. Schifosky can't pick it up, he's offside there, Wolfgram. Penalty to the Sydney Roosters. Time off his signal, the siren went as he did it in the background. Quick tap here from Sydney. Reuben off the chest, he knocked it on then though, when he went to pick it up. And so that is full time at the Bruce Stadium, and the crowd stands and acknowledges one of the greatest wins in the history of the Canberra Raiders. They trailed 22-10 at half-time. They went into the second half. They had no replacement players left, and they've scored 22 unanswered points, and they've beaten the Sydney Roosters by 32 points to 22.